if I say guess who, a lot of people will say, no, who? But then there are many, many more people who won't even begin to do that old saw because they'll know exactly who I mean. Probably one of the most well-known and beloved groups in rock, the Guess Who. And 50% of the Guess Who is in the studio today. Bill Wallace and Gary Peterson.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
And it's really nice to have you here. It would be at any time, but especially since Flavors came out, because then I can get to tell you in person how much I like it.
Thank you. Good.
It seems to me that the band is taking a little bit of a different direction. Am I right?
I think we're getting a little more serious.
You mean you weren't serious before?
Well, for a while, I'd say we weren't all that serious about everything.
Yeah.
Probably we didn't know where exactly we wanted to.
You guys, we met, oh gosh, it's over a year ago, and we discussed at that time that you've been together quite some time now.
Yeah, with various changes in the band.
Yeah.
The band started, there's two parts to the band. This band, the basic starts of this band were in 1969, I guess, when we had our first single in the States. Successful one.
What, These Eyes, These Eyes, that was it.
Yeah.
You mean there's something, oh, that's right, you were in Canada before that.
There was stuff before that. There was a record in 1966 called Shakin' All Over.
Right, of course.
Which made it to the top 20, I believe.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that.
So that's the old era of the band.
Yeah, we keep thinking, of course, when I say we, I guess everybody at NEW, I mean, we think in terms of These Eyes because
that was the initial.
Yeah, this is when we met you. We had just gone into progressive music in '68, and you were one of the really early groups for us. And These Eyes, of course, is still a great record. I still enjoy hearing it, but it's a far cry from Flavors, and I want everybody to hear another cut from Flavors right now. Here they are, the Guess Who. The Guess Who, Flavors. It's a marvelous album in its diversity of sound. They've got, the sound has everything that the original These Eyes and all the hits in between that you've loved have had, and yet something else. Also, the covers, I'd say a departure. They're standing in what seems to be a horse meat of the 1890s.
That's right.
And very elegant. Your expressions are all very, very peaceful.
But the band has changed, so much. That's why we were able to do this sort of thing,
This band's changed in what way, Gary?
Well, I think the band is more happy with the people that we have. We get along real well, which is also important. Musically, we get along very well. Everybody is into trying different things. There's no limitations on. I mean, obviously, you're always striving for something else, something more. You're not satisfied. Once you're satisfied somewhere, you move on to something else.
Well, sure. That's the nice thing about good bands that endure is that they are never satisfied, and I think that's the whole secret.
And our new guitar player, of course, is a great boost in the arm for the band.
No question. Now you're all stars. They're all chiefs, no Indians.
Well, I don't know. I mean, what I'm referring to is the fact that he brings another aspect into the band, He's
practicing. Something the band's never done before.
That is important, isn't it?
He's a taskmaster,
Well, that's good. It certainly has seemed to do wonders. I mean, I didn't think you could get much better, but
he's also a flashy eccentric, but we won't mention that. Right?
Well, listen, he's not here. It's not nice to talk about him, and you never know, he might listen to this program sometime. I'd like to take a moment here for some words about Army Reserve, if it's all right with you guys. Are you in the market for a better job? Then check your local Army Reserve unit, because the Army Reserve needs men, and the Reserve is making good deals to get them. We'll talk jobs first, not Army jobs, but civilian careers. When you join the Army Reserve, you can take any of 300 career training courses, depending on the needs of your local unit, and the choices cover the field, from finance to auto mechanics, and in return you'll serve with the Reserve, which is a pretty good deal all by itself. You start with a minimum of 4 months of active duty training, and you're paid for this, of course. And you're paid for the 4 4-hour reserve meetings each month and the 2 weeks you serve each summer. The Army Reserve offers better jobs and better futures. The Army Reserve, it pays to go to meetings.
It pays, it pays, it pays to go to meetings. It pays, it pays, it pays to go to meetings. It pays.
This is the Nightbird, Alison Steele, for the United States Army Reserve, and our guest today, guess who? Now you think I'm playing with you, right? Guess who? But you know better than that. You know it's not just Guess Who, it's the Guess Who. And I'm delighted to say that I do have one half of Guess Who, and I know exactly who they are. Welcome, Burton Cummings, and the newest member, Dominic Troiano.
Hi.
You know, I just learned something just before the mics went on that I didn't know, but I should have guessed. I spent quite a bit of time thinking about how Dom got from the James Gang, wasn't it? James Gang to the Guess Who. And then he just said, well, I'm from Toronto. And it all clicked in.
Well, you didn't realize he was a Canadian.
No. I mean, did you know each other before?
We've known each other
Of
for about
course.
10 years.
Dummy, I should have known that.
See, Canada, the bands are kind of sparsely situated, and any of them that reach any degree of success, sooner or later, they interrelate. You know,
Yeah.
they meet each other along the road because there are only 4 big cities to play in.
I know.
up there.
I think you told me that a couple of years ago, and I should have remembered it,
There are
Burton,
still
but I
only
forgot.
4 big cities.
Yeah.
Well, there's only one, really.
Yeah.
Well, you look awfully happy to me, and at the risk of, I don't want to put you on the spot, but how come it's so much better with the Guess Who?
Well, just a good old bunch of Canadian guys, you know? We're also
that-
chauvinistic at heart.
Isn't that funny? I guess
No,
so.
like, the main thing is that musically, this band is into a lot of different types of things.
Sure is.
And that affords me a chance to play a lot of different types of things, which I enjoy. I get very bored just doing the same type of music. And a lot of bands, you know, have a style, let's say, and tend to just do that one thing. And
They milk it.
personally, I just find that boring, and it's nice playing different things, and this band is into that. You know, Burton is into singing different types of things, so we can do
Sure
a country
is.
tune, a rock and roll tune, a blues thing.
Yeah, I want to talk more about that in a moment, but I want to just pause for about 30 seconds for a word from Army Reserve. You know, in just a few months, the Army Reserve can teach you a skill, pay you a salary, and send you home. Here's how it works. You go away for a few weeks of basic, followed by a few months of job training at full Army pay. Now you take off for home with a brand new skill. You'll be sharpening that skill 1 weekend a month with the Army Reserve, and earning some extra money, too. Now, not every unit can offer you every job, but the job you want may be open right now in the Army Reserve.
Seems like I can't.
That's from Flavors, the Guess Who, and we were talking a moment ago about the diversity of the album. Ouch, I almost dropped my watch there. When I got this album and I put it on the turntable, it kind of blew my mind because you've got so many different things going on this one album, and yet that totally identifiable sound. Is that Dominic Burton?
Well, the
or
thing
the
is that
combination?
Dominic and I have grown up in different areas of Canada, and his influences were Eastern and mine were more Midwestern. I think it's an amalgamation of ideas and influences. We're bouncing our ideas off each other as writers, and I guess we're just catalysts for each other, because it worked really well. We wrote the entire album in 4 nights without even laboring over it.
4 nights?
And actually, we wrote a couple more things, or they're in the workings. There was actually more than an album's worth of material that we came up with, and we had never even sat down with each other for 20 minutes before that point. It just clicked as a writing team. We just kind of clicked. We had a good time, and the next thing we knew, we were presenting the songs to the band as such, and the next thing we knew, the album was finished.
And when you say you wrote
just
together,
happened.
does one write the words and one the music, or is it a
It's both,
collaboration?
really. It's both. He had some lyrical ideas which sparked some continuations in my mind, and then I would elaborate on the lyrical ideas that he had, and whereas another time he'd have a guitar riff that he'd play and he'd say, see what you feel comfortable singing over this. So I would sing something that whatever, it sparked an idea in my mind, and I would just take it totally away from what he had.
I
We
would
felt very comfortable together.
I would have liked to have been a fly on the wall during those 4
Fly on
days.
the
It must have
wall.
been a very exciting
It was a very
session.
productive 4
Oh,
days.
It must have been exciting.
We had a fly on the floor.
On the floor.
His dog is
It
a
was
fly
me,
on the floor.
right, yeah. I want to take a moment for some words from Army Reserve.
get together.